Good morning. What's the story, Morning Glory? I highly debated whether I wanted to say good morning or not because it just became a thing. Like the first episode, I said good morning on a whim. Like it just felt right, even though it wasn't morning. I'd just be saying shit, you know what I mean? But then everybody was like, "Oh my god, it is morning. How'd you know, girl? Are you psychic?" And it's like, yeah, one mind, bro. But so then I was like, okay, well, I got to do it again. And then when you do it twice, it's like, well, you got to do it a third time. And then at that point, I'm just a slave to a pattern. I'm just in a loop. I'm in a spiral. We all are. That's life. The Fibonacci spiral. Oh, I saved this really good pin on Pinterest that was like a loop versus a spiral. And maybe this is like not important at all. But like, I don't know, it resonated with me. Let me find it for you as I'm looking through Pinterest on my podcast. While I look for that, my point is, I didn't know if I wanted to say good morning or not today. And I mean, this is actually the first time I'm recording and it is morning, although like legally it's not morning, it's 12:30. But like for me, it's morning. I've only been up for 2 hours. I'm drinking coffee. It's Saturday, time isn't real anyway. So like, this is like the first time that it feels appropriate to actually say good morning because it's the first time I'm not recording at night. So, knowing that, this is probably the time that you're listening to it at night and it's not going to make sense for you because my now is a different now than you. You all know how it goes. But where is this fucking pin? It's hiding. Oh, here we go. Right when I was about to give up. Okay, so it says the spiral. This is like it's describing like what is happening when you're doing this. When you are spiraling. Your intuition calls you to make gradual changes in your life that lead towards ongoing evolution, development, and transcendence. Pure consciousness can see past the repeating cycles of the mind and urges you to move beyond what you think you know. So like imagine a spiral, like a tree that grows, like the stump, the spirals in the tree, or like a winding staircase. Gosh, I talk about a winding staircase so frequently that I should like trademark that. I mean, I'm sure I didn't make it up. Again, it goes back to episode 3 where I talk about have I made anything up? No, but also I've created everything. So anyway, I created YouTube. But life is like a spiral staircase, and it's like the moment you're like, how am I back here again? Am I regressing? What the hell is going on? You realize you're not really back there. Again, no here, no there. You're on the same staircase. You might be at the same point of the staircase, but you're a whole level up looking down. So that's the spiral staircase. The loop, this is what's happening when you're in the loop. Your ego wants you to stay in a loop, repeating the same cycles over and over again. This is what feels comfortable and safe to the egoic mind, since it is all that it knows. So again, imagine the spiral. Imagine you like growing and increasing, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And sure, you're looping around the same parts of the circle or the same parts of the spiral, but you're a level deeper. You're a floor higher on the stairwell. And then with the loop, you're literally just a circle. You're just, a clock. It's just cyclical. Anyway, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Because I actually am groggy, even though it's 12:30 in the afternoon. It's 12 in the afternoon. Your eyes are the size of the moon. Those are not the lyrics, by the way. That song feels like that song feels like psychosis to me. In middle school, it's a Panic at the Disco. I was about to say a Paramore, and I was also about to say Panic at the Discord. Guys, I need to go back to bed. I've been on Discord too much. That's a Panic at the Disco song. And in middle school, when Rock Band was really big, I used to go over to my friend's house every day after school and eat Oreo ice cream right out of the container. Don't tell her parents we did that. And watch iCarly and play Rock Band, and we would play that song over and over and over again. And I would always do the drums. Sometimes I would do singing, but not for that song. For that song, I would always do the drums. Shout out Marissa. I don't even know if you know I have a podcast. I'm going to have to send you a text. But shout out Marissa. And anyway, to the point where like it felt like psychosis, because we would just every day play that song over and 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 over again. And but it never got sick of it because it's so catchy. But the funny thing is, that song was Groundhog's Day for quite some time, but now it's been like 20 years. And I don't think I've heard that song since, legitimately, until this moment. So consciousness is interesting because now I got to have that beautiful little memory. Anyway, it's 12. It's almost 1 to be honest. It's closer to 1 than it is to 12. So I really should not be as groggy as I am, but I am groggy. I went to a sound bath last night. Shout out Kevin. That's my meditation instructor. He did his first ever sound bath last night, and it was lovely, and it was beautiful. And he called it a sound baptism, which I really fuck with. That just really resonates with me. But damn, I had some deep sleep last night, and I woke up groggy. Okay, where to start? Because I've already gone all over the place. I've been spiraling, I've been looping, I've been going every which way, but, in a completely intentional and purposeful way, much like the universe. But there's a few things I want to say. I want to tell you what I'm drinking right now. I'm drinking coffee. This time it's in like a thermos. Do you hear that? These are different parts of the thermos. This part is like the bottom that, like, I don't know, touches the table. This part is like a grippy part for your hand that is like rubber. And then this is the metal at the top where the coffee is in. Anyway, it's not iced coffee. I know iced coffee. So here's the thing. I was a barista for 6 to 8 weeks. I can't remember how much. And so I know what I'm talking about. I learned all about the art of barista-ing. To be a baristo for those 6 to 8 weeks. So I know that this is not truly iced coffee because iced coffee is like its own process. This is coffee that I had in my refrigerator. Because I recently got a coffee maker. So don't cancel me, but also it's fine if you do, because nothing's real. I had a Keurig for like 10 years, but in my defense, I wasn't buying those like plastic Keurig cups and like that just like go into landfills. Everything goes into landfills. I had a reusable Keurig cup that I would fill up with ground coffee. But then one day, the Keurig was getting pretty icky. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I would clean it out with like white vinegar and like hot water. But like I had it for like 10 years, and my mom got it for me from like Kohl's on Black Friday one year, and I just never bought another coffee maker because it made sense for my lifestyle. So when I lived with Andy, they didn't drink coffee, so I was the only one drinking coffee. And then when I've lived alone, I'm the only one drinking coffee. And I try to keep my coffee consumption, I know this is really important to you, so take notes. I try to keep my coffee consumption to 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day, because any more than that gives me heart palpitations. And I don't know, 1 to 2 cups of coffee just feels like a solid amount. So do I need a whole pot? Absolutely not. So then I was like, I could go the French press route. But to be completely honest, switching to French press would only be to keep up appearances. And appearances with who? I live alone. It would just be to be like, I don't use a Keurig, I use a French press. And my ex, Greg, used a French press, and my bestie, Emily, uses a French press, and I, like, borderline lived with Greg, and then, like, I borderline live with Emily, and I have watched her house many times. And here's the thing. I get the ick when I'm cleaning out a French press, and it's, like, all that wet ground coffee just stuck to it. And it's just, like, I don't know, it's too much effort for me. So it made sense logically for me to have a Keurig. But then my boyfriend, when I got a boyfriend, he has like a particular coffee that he likes and a particular way of things. And I think that the whole Keurig thing both icked him out and pissed him off. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it wasn't his system. And I'm not saying that like you should change your life for somebody else's system. This is your world, right? This is your reality. But that being said, I didn't feel super dead set in my ways with my Keurig. It just was like a way of convenience. It was something that was gifted to me. I just never changed. There was nothing to change. It was all fine. And then he came in and he's like, okay, but like, first of all, this is so old. You need to replace your reusable cups. Like, let's make more than one cup of coffee at a time. I don't know. I don't even want to give you his elevator pitch, but when it came out of his mouth, it made sense to me. And I want to say an expression, and I can't think of what that expression is. So drop in the comment if you know what expression I'm talking about. But it was like, that was like the first crack in the hardware. That was like the first chip. That was like what's the expression, y'all? Drop it in the comments. But that was the first inkling I had that, okay, yeah, maybe I should change my coffee system. And like I said, I had thought about it before. I had thought about a French press in like excess. I had thought about the French press a lot and how I just don't think I should be a French press person. I did also consider pour over. Let me make that clear. And I'm still considering pour over. My friend Emily, different Emily than the last Emily with the French press, Emily on Discord, she's actually a potter and she is making me a pour over, which is beautiful and I'm excited about it. But yeah, that was like the first clink in the armor? Is that the clink? Guys, what is the expression I'm trying to think of? Ding in the armor? Please put it in the comments. Please save me. I actually paused the podcast to try to Google it. Don't tell anybody that I paused the podcast. That's a secret between you and me. I paused the podcast to Google the expression and I still couldn't find it. Anyway, that was like the first moment where I was like, I should consider other forms of coffee. And like, you know, he would appreciate this and I enjoy my morning cup of coffee and it should be special. So that happened. And then my Keurig died one day in the middle of the night. And I was like, all right, I can't resist this anymore. I have to go with the flow of the current. I can't swim upstream. I can't fight this. I can't fight this any longer. Is that a song? Drop that in the comments. I feel like it's like Boston. Or like a band that is adjacent to Boston. Is it I Can't Fight This Feeling? Is that a Boston song? Guys, I know you're so annoyed with me right now. I'm sorry. Anyway, got a new coffee maker. The point is, got a new coffee maker. But because it's like a full regular coffee maker that makes like a full pot, now I have extra coffee. And so sometimes I put the cold coffee in the fridge as to not overconsume and get heart palpitations because that doesn't feel lovely for me. And I only want to feel lovely these days. So I am drinking cold coffee that was in the fridge overnight in like a metal thermos with some cane sugar and whole milk. And I am a whole milk apologist. I will let you know. I spent 13 years of my life vegetarian and 10 years of my life vegan. And the idea of milk absolutely repulsed me. And I always used to get like a shiver down my spine when people would be like drinking milk on its own, just like straight. Like I used to be a hater. I was a milk hater. And then my bestie Emily introduced me to whole milk. And I also should like acknowledge that I grew up in a skim milk household. Not even 1%, not 2%, a skim milk household. And that's just milky water. So like that colors my experience. And I tried whole milk and it was like wow. Like it was like it's like that Bright Eyes song. Not to reference Bright Eyes 2 podcast episodes in a row. Like you guys are gonna think I'm like a huge Bright Eyes fan. And like, I mean, I love Bright Eyes. I was angsty. I have angst. But it's like that song, First Day of My Life. Like, this is the first day of my life. I was born right in the doorway. I drank whole milk and I was born in the doorway. Actually, relevant enough. Just like the I am nowhere and it's here is now. I'm nowhere and it's now song that we talked about yesterday or 2 days ago. This is the first day of my life. I was born right in the doorway. Another like beautiful lyric from Connor Oberst about all of this. Because I'm 1 moment old. I am 1 moment old. I am now, and that is all that I am. Everything before this moment doesn't exist. So, did you guys hear my stomach growling? If not, take my word for it. I'm not a liar. If I lie, I immediately tell you I'm lying. And it's like a bit. I would not lie about my stomach growling. It happened. Do you believe me? It did. I swear to God. I swear to me, it happened. Anyway, I'm drinking coffee. I'm drinking water. It's morning. Let's get into it. You know what's funny? We've already been in it. We've been in it for however many minutes. I don't know. Because again, like you guys asked me, like, how much time am I recording? I'm looking at Garageband right now, and I'm looking at the minutes increase. But I don't know what anything means. I don't know how to use Garageband. I don't know how to use any of the things I'm using. I'm just using them and hoping for the best and like closing my eyes and making a wish. And like right now it says I'm at 469. What does that mean? Does that mean I'm at 469 seconds? LOL, 69. 69? 67. Y'all get it. Y'all get it. You've been in middle school. I trust that you get my number innuendo. 69 and 67. But yeah, I have no idea how long I've been talking. But we've been in it. We're in it. We're here. It's now. We are nowhere, and it's now. This is the first day of my life, and I was born right in the doorway. So anyway, whole milk is great. Try it out if you haven't. You know what's also great in coffee? Heavy whipping cream. Don't knock it till you try it. Do not knock it until you try it. My mom introduced me to that, which is crazy because she's also the mom that introduced me to skim milk. Because I grew up in like a diet culture-y household, but then she went into the whole keto thing, which is another conversation that I actually don't want to have another day. So let's just pretend it didn't happen. But heavy whipping cream fits into that ideology. And heavy whipping cream fits into my ideology. And my ideology is a whipped cream lifestyle. Actually, shout out, callback. I'd say callback to the first episode when I was talking about that cup of coffee I had in the like life is good mug, the like live, laugh, love, smile, like your heart is beating, celebrate like you're alive, whatever it said on that mug. When I told that story, I forgot the most important part, and it's that I had decided to add whipped cream to my coffee that day. You can see it in the picture. If you don't believe me, if you thought I was making up the stomach growling, then you're really gonna think I'm making up that I put whipped cream on my coffee one day. But that day that I put whipped cream on my coffee and I was drinking out of that like mug that had all the like millennial optimism words on it, I was just like, God damn, like life is so much better when you put whipped cream on your coffee. Why have I been withholding whipped cream from my coffee? Like I have free will and I could have been doing that every day of my life. Life is better when you put whipped cream on your coffee. Anyway, I had points at the beginning of this that I don't know if I reached. I don't know if I put a bow on them. But I did want to say, I don't know if forever I'm going to be saying good morning when I start the podcast. So don't get too attached to it. Don't get too attached to anything because we only have this now moment. And it's already past us. Like I said good morning, or maybe I did, maybe I didn't. You'd have to roll the track back. But like it's already gone. And it's not morning for me anymore. Is it morning for you? Are you in a morning headspace? That's all that really matters. I used to be really anti-morning, but I've reframed morning heavily in the last few years. And now I really romanticize morning. Anyway, there's so many things I want to cover and nothing at all that I want to cover. Yesterday, I found myself writing like a huge list in my notes app. Like anytime something inspired would happen, I'm like, oh, I gotta talk about that on the podcast. Gotta talk about that on the pod. To my loyal subscribers, which the number is going up, y'all. We're at like 34. How the hell did that happen in a few days? Thank you. I also I got some organic subscribers now, like people who just like wandered in. And how beautiful is that? How beautiful is it to see like how incredibly intentional and purposeful every single thing is, and also simultaneously how like completely random and chaotic it is. It's like the spiral. It's like the loop. It's like the sacred geometry. It all just is. Anyway, I have a huge ass list in my notes app. But then it occurred to me, A, that's not really going with my ideology of no planning. So, a little bit of a hypocrite there. But then also B, like there's no fucking way I'm going to hit any of these points today. Every time I write something down, like the day that I wrote 3 bullet points, on a white notebook paper. I was like, oh, I can hit 3 bullet points. I talked for an hour and 6 minutes, and I only hit 1.5 of them. So, like, this gigantic notes app of, like, 20 points that I wrote down yesterday, like, there's no way we're covering them. We're 607, whatever metric, whatever unit. Okay, it says 611 bars. 0.3 beats. Does anybody speak Garageband? What does that mean? Is that a unit of time? Is that a unit of time? Or is that not even relevant to this conversation? We're 618 bars and 1 beat in to this podcast episode, and I have not hit one of these points. And there's at least 20 that I have written down. Let me just throw y'all a bone and hit a few of the points. First, I just want to say, I told some of my Discord friends I'd give them a shout out. So this is your moment. Because you guys know I'm not stingy with the shout outs. You know, abundance mindset. The limit does not exist. I can shout out all day, every day. So I want to shout out to Bree. Found out yesterday her name is Bree and not Bri. Shout out Bree. Shout out Anastasia, who I should have shouted out on the first episode. I'm not going to lie. She was one of the original people who, like, hyped me up, and I feel bad. I think I missed her. Go back. My stomach's growling again. Go back and tell me if I missed her or if I said her in the first episode, because I'm not re-listening. But then, when I was going to shout out Anastasia, because I also, just like Bri, I only know Anastasia online on Discord. She's my online friend. And then it occurred to me, is it Anastasia or is it Anastasia? Shout out both Anastasia and Anastasia. And if you are Bri or Bri, Anastasia or Anastasia, and you are listening to this and you are not the people I'm referencing, shout out to you too. Like I said, no scarcity here. We got enough to go around. We got enough shout outs to shout out every person on the planet. Also shout out Marla. Shout out Cell. Shout out all the cells. I know multiple cells, so shout out to all the cells. This is why, like, you don't put last names, because, you know, I don't want to limit myself. Anyway, shout out Justin Bieber too. That's random, but I have Justin Bieber on my list of topics that I want to discuss, and am I going to mention what I want to discuss about him in this podcast? Probably not, but shout out Justin Bieber. JB. Shout out JB. Shout out Lord. Lord already got her shout out in yesterday's session. But I have her on the list too, and I have her on the list of topics to discuss in a new way. So get excited for if I ever talk about that. But anyway, I did actually, believe it or not, have a place that I wanted, like a starter thing that I wanted to start this episode out with. And, like, should I have started that, like, however many minutes ago? However many nows ago should I have started that? Yes. Are we even in the introduction anymore? That's subjective. I'm going to say yes. We're still introducing. But I've been reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment. It's a New York #1 Times. Guys, what are words? They're not real anyway. It's a #1 New York Times bestseller. So, like, you've probably heard of it. And there's a quote by Oprah Winfrey on the back. So this is not like an underground niche book by any means. And if you've been spiritual or mindful or in the self-help world, you've probably read it or at least heard about it. But I've been reading it. Let me get a sip of my water. And there's so many things that I want to quote from it. But I had one specific thing that I wanted to read to you today because I was thinking about it. It is on page 51. I'm just going to read it out loud, guys. Get cozy. If you're not already, first of all, I would like to say, like, you know, I'm no cop. I'm an abolitionist. So I'm not going to enforce this, but I would really appreciate if you would try to prioritize coziness while you're listening to me. Just put that in the front of your mind. Put that in the front of your mind. That's important to me. And as my friend, it should be important to you too. Now, that being said, if you heard the word cozy and it didn't resonate for you, if your body tensed up, you do you. You know, if you want to do parkour while you're listening to my podcast, that's acceptable. If you want to, do burpees, I'm not going to stop you. I can't see you right now. You don't even have to, if you want to confess in the comments that you're doing burpees right now, it's a safe space to do so, but I can't see you. I don't know what's happening. I'm just going to trust that you're cozy. I'm going to trust. So anyway, the person asking the questions in this book, because it's like a question answer type book, says, I cannot believe that I could ever reach a point where I'm completely free of my problems. Okay, listen up. This is Eckhart Tolle's response. He says, you are right. You can never reach that point because you are at that point now. There is no salvation in time. You cannot be free in the future. Presence is the key to freedom. So you can only be free now. I don't know if that even sounded like... It was supposed to be like an air horn. Did you get it? Did it sound like an air horn to you? I'm so embarrassed. Guys, was my air horn good enough for you? If I could just say a word once and actually say it right, that would be lovely. I'm setting that intention. But yeah, I'll work on my air horn if you guys did not think it was believable. But if it was believable, drop a comment. Anyway, that had me thinking. I also took another note on it. Let me open up my notes. These are tangible notes in a notebook, not the notes app, in case you were wondering. I have both. Get yourself a girl who can do both. Both tangible notes in a notebook and notes in a notes app. I'm a 21st century girl. Like Xenon. But I'm also a cottagecore girly. I like a pencil and a pad. I like a nice pen. Don't worry, guys. Eventually I'll give a pen review. But what note did I have? It was about that. Thank you for joining me on my vocal stem session. I'm going to find it, guys. It was about heaven and hell. Okay, here it was. It says, belief in a future heaven creates a present hell. And I was like, oh, damn. I'll repeat that for you. The belief in a future heaven creates a present hell. So basically, like, if we're always, like, trying to reach something, if we're always trying to get, if we're always trying to do, if we're always yearning, then in the present moment, we're suffering. We're saying the present moment is not enough. So he says, you're right. You can never reach that point because you are at that point now. There is no salvation in time. You cannot be free in the future. Presence is the key to freedom. So you can only be free now. Oh, wow. That sounded more like Blue from Blue's Clues. But Blue from Blue's Clues is an air horn of sorts. She's an icon. She's a legend. And I'm wearing a blue shirt right now that is the exact color of Blue from Blue's Clues. So everything's divine and everything is purposeful and everything is a spiral leading us back to the point that we can tie a bow on. Anyway, so think about that, guys. If you're here with me right now and you're radically now. You're not thinking about the future or the present. Not the present. Guys, cancel me. I can't talk today. If you're not thinking about the future or the past and you're just here present with me, then we're free. We've broke out of the matrix, guys. We broke our chains. Here we are, liberated together, you and me, in this together. That's so cute. Aww. We're like frolicking in a field together right now, like proverbially. Aww. Guys. Every time I say, aww, I think about that one Portlandia sketch. Let me know if you've... Drop a comment if you've seen this sketch. And if not, actually give it a Goog. Give it a YouTube. Give it a search. Search Portlandia dumpster diving sketch, but like make sure you watch all the scenes. But like Carrie Bradshaw's character in this sketch, she's a dumpster diver, and every time she picks up something that's like even remotely cute, she goes, "Aw, aw, aw." But she's picking up like disgusting things, like like an old doll covered in spaghetti sauce, like that kind of shit. And she's like, "Aw." But like, I promise there's a point. One, the point is Portlandia is a perfect show and it's underrated and nobody else seems to be referencing it besides me. Bring back Portlandia. Two, oh God, I'm obsessed with Carrie Bradshaw. What a babe. Three, there's something so pure about that because it's kind of like, for my loyal listeners who know a callback to my past episodes, I think it was episode 2, where I was talking about Michelangelo's quote about the statue of David, where he just says he removes everything that wasn't David, that the angel was always in the marble. He just had to remove the excess. It's kind of like that. She's removing the gunk, the old spaghetti sauce and shit off of a little doll or whatever in the dumpster. And she's seeing the doll. She's seeing the angel that was always in the dumpster, that was always in the trash. And she's seeing it. She's seeing clearly through ego. She's wiping off the lens and she's seeing clearly through the eyes of God, the pure love behind the trash. Can you guys believe this shit? Guys, that was just like a dunk. That was a slam dunk. How the fuck did I turn that into a spiritual metaphor? But aw is my point. If I had a point, if I had to tie this podcast up in a bow, I would say my point is aw. Is my point AWW? Aw. Or is my point AWE? That's for you to decide. That's for you as the listener to decide. But I'm awe-inspired. I'm awe-inspired by the present moment. That's where the awe is. I've said it before and I'll say it again. God is in the present moment. This moment contains love. Love is the present moment. The present moment is perfect. The present moment is freedom. The present moment is now. It's here. Can you feel it? Did you forget it? Here we are together. Present. Anyway, one thing I actually did want to do, other than read that excerpt, is he had like another part after it where he basically was talking about being radically present. Like, because the questioner in the book was saying like, okay, but the now isn't that great. Because like, in the now I have problems. Like, I hate my job. And, you know, my boyfriend doesn't want to fuck me or whatever. He didn't say that, but I added that. But then Eckhart's saying, I feel like I can call him by his first name, right? We're homies. I'm close enough. You know, because I could say Tolle to be respectful, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. No disrespect to my man Eckhart Tolle, but I feel like we're close enough. We share one mind. All is one. So I'll say Eckhart's saying, but is that in the present moment? Or is that the past and the future too? Because are you at your job right now? Maybe you are, but like for the sake of this, it's a Saturday for me, so the answer is no. And the answer to that would be no. Is your boyfriend actively saying, I don't want to fuck you right now? Is he saying that? I know my boyfriend wants to fuck me. Sorry, guys. That was an ego moment. I don't need to prove that to you. You know it. You know it. But no, that's not happening right now. What's actually happening here now? I don't know where you are in your here and now, but in my here and now, I can hear birds chirping in my right ear behind me. I can hear a car too. I'm looking at a screen, pixels on a screen. I'm tapping my fingers on the Power of Now book. Kind of far from the mic though, so I don't know if you can hear it or not. I've got a nice little cup of coffee. I'm swiveling in a chair. Nothing's wrong. You know, and I've said this before, but again, what is before? There's only now. So he's like talking about this like radical presence, and he's talking about like, what can you touch with your hands right now? What can you feel? And, you know, this is a classic therapy technique. If you've ever been through the cycle of therapy or self-help. Shout out to my anxious girlies and my anxious bros, my anxious non-binary folk. If you have anxiety, take a shot. Actually, don't. If you have anxiety, raise your hand. This one's for you. Shout out anxious people. Shout out anxiety. But this is an anxiety technique, and we're gonna do it together because it's actually also just ultimately, when you strip it down, it's a presence technique. So it's where you point to things with your senses, and there's like a certain number. It's like, name 5 things you can smell, and 3 things you can see, and 2 things you can taste. We're just gonna do one of each. All right. So I want you, again, you have autonomy. I would say free will, but that's, you know, a whole discussion in itself. Like we said, I don't know about free will. Free will is a can of worms that I could talk about for quite some time. But you have autonomy. So we'll say that. We'll say autonomy. So you don't have to do this. You could listen to me doing it, or you could also turn the podcast off. There's actually a lot of timelines that you could choose from right now. The limit does not exist. It is totally limitless. But for the sake of duality, we'll say you could either do this or you could not. But I'm going to do it. Right now, I'm going to touch something in my vicinity, and I'm going to describe it to you. All right, you ready? You ready? Fuck, what am I going to touch? Okay. Ooh, I got a good one. All right, so right now, I am touching a towel. It's like a hand towel. Step up from a washcloth. It's like a kitchen towel that you would like hang on your oven. You know what I mean? Could double as like a pot holder, but you have it there in case you need it, just for anything. Your hand gets a little greasy, you wipe it off. Why is it on my desk? That's a good question. I cannot remember, but it has been sitting here for a while. And I know I just said touch, but I'll also describe how it looks. It's green. It's like lime green. Oh, but it's got such a good feel. Here, let me rub it against the mic. So that was me rubbing the towel directly on the mic. Now let me rub it with my fingers near the mic. Oh, it's like... Guys, I got like goosebumps. Here's the thing. When you're radically present, it actually feels like ecstasy. It feels like orgasmic. Because why am I just rubbing a towel and feeling like I'm going to come? But like, TMI. It is nice. It is nice. I implore you, if that's the right word, I double dog dare you, touch something right now and really feel it. Really feel it. Feel it in your hands. Feel it in your whole body. Feel it in your mind's eye. Feeling is so good, guys. We're so blessed to feel. I don't even want to say we have a body, but we're so blessed to experience this body. We are so blessed to be aware of this body and these senses. Okay. Put down whatever you were touching if you were touching something, like a good boy or girl. Now we're going to taste something. We're going to taste something. And this one's a little bit like of a wild card because like you might be like, I'm not eating anything. I'm not telling you you have to. What is it? What is in your taste buds right now? Close your eyes. You don't have to close your eyes, but I feel like that will really like immerse you. What are you tasting? Sorry for the mouth sounds. That was over the top. That was too much. I can admit that. I'm tasting stale coffee. But again, when I taste it, all these wonderful stories, granted they're stories of the past, the dead past, are coming up of like, I got a new coffee maker. How special is that? You guys remember that? Do you remember that earlier in the episode when I was talking about my new coffee maker? Call back to however many minutes ago that was, however many bars, point beats that was on Garageband. If you don't remember, I'm going to take another sip. We'll make it fresh. Ready? I'll do another one just to give you a little treat. Speaking of summer camp, a few episodes ago, speaking of summer camp and speaking of my summer camp counselor, Steve, when I was in elementary school and middle school summer camp, I remember Steve taught me how to do that. Actually, it might have been Mark. Shout out Mark. Sorry if it was Mark and not Steve. I don't want to give, no stolen valor to Steve. But he taught me how to do the and I thought that was the coolest fucking shit I had ever heard. It's just mouth sounds that sound like, I don't know, an echo. But like, that made my life technicolor. After that, I was like, I'm a new woman. I'm a new 10-year-old. Papa's got a brand new bag of toys. I got a brand new pair of shoes. I got my new shoes on. And I'm new shoe goofing. Anyway, I felt that was a moment in time for me. Again, what is time? It doesn't exist, but holy cow, was that a now. That was an amazing now moment in the series of nows. Just, it opened up a whole new dimension to me. It added texture. Now, with language, with sound, I can echo, like, intentionally, without a mic, without a canyon, without a tunnel, without a basement, cellar. Those are nature's echoes. But I can do it anytime I want with my mouth. Anyway, what did you taste? I hope it was a good taste. Maybe you need to brush your teeth, though. I think I do. I love coffee, but there's nothing worse than stale coffee breath. It, actually makes me, a little insecure. I'm not gonna lie. But then what is insecurity? Because nothing is real, and everything is me. And, yeah. Anyway, we did touch, we did taste. Let's do smell. You ready? I'm gonna take a deep breath through my nose. You ready? I'm doing the golden retriever. Aw. Now I'm doing the Carrie Brownstein. Aw. Aw. I awed because I don't know what it is. But I smell my partner. And he's not here. But I smell him. So I am wearing his hoodie. But it's been my hoodie for quite some time. Aw. And you know what else I think I smell? I might be lying. I might be lying to myself. I would never lie to you, but I would lie to myself. I might be smelling Lauren. And I don't think I know what, Lauren smells like. Not really. Do we ever really know what we smell like? But I'm smelling my skin right now. And I'm smelling my skin like you'd smell a lover. And I think that's why my brain went to boyfriend, partner, lover, other. Because it didn't recognize self. But I think I'm smelling self. I think I'm smelling Lauren. And oh my God, that's going to make me cry. This is like the towel all over again. Remember when I was feeling the towel and I felt emotional and horny? Wow, life is beautiful, guys. This is what Eckhart Tolle was getting at. This is so beyond the therapy technique of just ground yourself. This is now is so perfect. It's so beautiful. It could bring you to tears. It's just unconditionally loving. It's just unconditionally now. Oh, I can't get enough of me. I could just bottle that scent up and wear it around my neck. Like when Angelina Jolie bottled her partner's blood and wore it in a vial around her neck. I always thought that was really romantic. I'm not going to lie. Some people think it's weird. I think they just don't get romance. Anyway, we did touch, we did taste, we did smell. Let's do sight. Sight feels a little overrated, but at the same time, oh God, sight? Sight. Need I say more? Anyway, Look around the room. But okay, don't just pick the first thing you see. I feel like that's too easy. Or maybe I'm overcomplicating it, you know? Maybe I'm taking for granted the first thing you see. Because the first thing that catches your eye is pretty sacred. So actually delete that. Delete, it's over, it's in the past, it didn't happen. You can pick the first thing you see. Or if you want to make it a challenge, if you want to make it an I Spy, if you want to make it a little exciting, look for something you wouldn't normally see. So, again, not to be fucking, dude, who wrote that poem? Two paths diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the road less traveled by. I took the road less traveled by. Who wrote that poem? I want to say his name has an R in it. Why is it, like, not in my brain right now? The road less taken. The road less traveled. The road less traveled by. The road less traveled poem. Robert Frost. I knew R. Robert Frost. I'm not trying to be Robert Frost. I'm not trying to diverge this in a yellow wood. I'm not trying to be dual. I'm not trying to be this or that, heads or tails. But it's just so easy. It's so right there. You know what I mean? We love a this or that. We love an either or. But it's always both and, I'm telling you. But yeah, not to be Robert Frost about it, but like, you can do what your eye catches first, and that's sacred. You can look around for a little bit and find something you wouldn't normally look at. Or you could do the secret third option, or the secret fourth, or fifth, or sixth, or 180th. It's up to you. The choice is yours. I'm gonna look around for a second. I'm gonna spot something with my eye. I'll let you know when I got it. See, I have pressure. I feel like I have to spot something exciting because I'm the one with the microphone, you know? And I'm putting myself in that power position, but there's no power here. We're equals. We're all one. There doesn't need to be a hierarchy. No pressure. No pressure. Actually, no pressure. Guys, I make the rules. Did I forget? No gods, no masters except me. I make the rules. Oh God, that's liberating. That's liberating to remember. How could I forget that nothing means anything? Whew. Load off my back. Okay, wait. I found mine. Did you guys find yours? All right, ready? Lock in. Okay. So I am looking at, I don't even know how to begin to describe this. I'm looking at a tiny little yogurt cup. It's like a little figurine that you would get from like a kawaii gift store. Like it's like Japanese. And like, I'm sorry if I am misrepresenting Japanese culture. I am not like, I don't know that much about it. I want to say it's like Japanese or Korean. And like, it probably came in one of those like surprise boxes like Labubus come in. I don't know where I got it. I want to say that I got it in Vegas. But so it's definitely Andy's. Shout out Andy, who I used to live with. A lot of their stuff still lives with me. And it's like a little yogurt guy. Maybe I'll take a picture and I'll put it in the cover photo. Because, like, I don't want to, like, edge you guys. You know, I could describe it with my words and that would be beautiful. And, like, you know what? There's something kind of beautiful and sacred about that, though. Because if I just describe it with my words, then I have an image of it and you have an image of it. And your image is just as beautiful as my image. And who's to say one is more real than the other? You know? Mine is real in my reality, in my lens, and yours is real in yours. Both equally real, both equally special, both equally beautiful expressions of consciousness. Aw, Carrie Bradshaw. Not Carrie Bradshaw. Carrie Brownstein. Carrie Bradshaw is from Sex and the City, which is another tangent I will go on. Today is not the day. The now is not the now, but we might get back to Carrie Bradshaw. Anyway, it's like a little yogurt cup, and I'm going to call her she. Guys, this is gender roles because she's pink. You don't have to be a girl to enjoy pink. And you don't have to enjoy pink if you're a girl. It's all a construct. It's all made up. But I'm going to call her she. She has, like, little eyes and little eyelashes. And a little, like, simple, like, just modern, just curved smile. Just like a classic, like, what you'd hit on your keyboard smile. Little curve, I'm like, how do I even describe that? Just, you know, classic smile, classic smiley face smile. She's got two little peach circles as cheeks, and she's got pink shoes. She's got a spoon coming out of her head. Silver lid. She's just like a little white. She's probably the size of, she fits in the palm of your hand. She fits in the size in the palm of your hand. I have big hands. She fits in my palm. I don't know how to describe her size. Maybe 2 inches tall? Maybe no, probably more than that. More than that. 3 inches tall, 4 inches if you count her lid, which is propped open. Anyway, that's all I'm going to describe. You don't need any more than that. Your imagination is so powerful. You don't need any more than that. What are you looking at? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Guys, I need the engagement. I need the engagement because something will happen if I don't get it. I don't know. There will be consequences. I'm not sure what they are, but I need the engagement. Comment. Shout out comments. Shout out commenters. Shout out engagement. Drop a comment if you're engaged. Drop a comment if you've had yogurt in the last week. Drop a comment if you have never ate yogurt before. Drop a comment if you love your grandma. And hold on. I don't mean that in like one of those like email threads where they send you and it's like, if you don't forward this to 10 people, your grandma's gonna die. If you don't repost this on Facebook to your friends, then you're not a true follower of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. No. Just drop a comment if you love your grandma. And if you don't drop a comment, I'm going to assume you love your grandma too. It's all love. Everything is love. Everything is grandma. Everything is love. Everything is one. Everything is now. Anyway, did we do all the senses? Did we cover it? Okay, we did touch. We did taste. We did smell. We did sight. We didn't do hearing. Did we? I did mention hearing birds, but I think that was like tangential. All right, we'll do this one quick and then we'll continue. Or we'll end. I'm not sure. We'll see where we're at after hearing. All right, let's get real quiet for this one. Let's get real quiet. I'm going to give like a good 10 to 30 seconds of silence. Moment of silence. Moment of silence for silence. Moment of silence for sounds. Guys, let's have a shared moment of silence for sounds, for hearing, for ears, for our senses. Do you guys hear the birds? Do you hear how they ramped up right when I said moment of silence? Damn. That's a low-key disrespectful of them. Or maybe they're trying to tell us something. What do you think they're trying to say? There's that Kurt Cobain quote, and he's like, every morning the birds scream bloody murder, but we don't speak bird. It's paraphrasing, obviously, but I always thought that was kind of funny. All right. You ready for the moment of silence? You know what you're supposed to do, right? You know your role? The instructions are clear enough? If not, pause, go back, re-listen. I'll wait. Okay, you ready? Okay, I'm going to count to 5, and at 5 we're going to do 10 seconds. 10, I don't know how many seconds. I don't have a time counter on this, just the bars and beats, and we don't know what that means. We're not Googling it. Okay, but it will feel like whatever 10 seconds feels like to me. It's subjective. It's not subjective, but it's subjective because time isn't real. Okay, counting to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, go. Okay, you ready? I don't know how much time that was. Okay, so I heard that there was like the overt now noises, right? Like there's like foreground and background. And the foreground was my air purifier, which is in the like, it's behind me. It's behind me and it's to the right. Behind and to the right. I'm reaching towards it right now. You can't see me, but my arm is out. Like my eyes are closed and I'm reaching back. I'm trying to grab it, but you can't grab sound. You can't grab anything, so why am I gripping so hard? Let go, let go, let go. Release it, release it. There's nothing to reach for. Eckhart Tolle told us that, remember? There's nothing to reach, it's just now. Let go and let God. Anyway, I'm reaching for it. I'm a hypocrite. And that was like the overt first sound I heard. But then I was like, that's so obvious, Lauren. Don't be so obvious. So I listened a little harder. And what was really interesting is what I started to hear. I'm wearing headphones. I'm wearing these big bulky headphones that are like a pale pink color that have cat ears. You've maybe seen them before. I think that they're like pretty common. I don't know if it's that they're common or that my reticular activating system of my brain just notices them every time I see like a YouTuber wear them or a TikToker wear them, because I own them. So like pattern recognizing. Or like if that's just, it's not even neuroscience. It's just the way of all that is, that we are just pure awareness, and what we're aware of we see. It's a little bit of both, a little bit of column A and column B. But I've noticed these before. I think they're a common headphone. They're big bulky headphones on top of my head. They're pale pink. They have cat ears, and they have like a little microphone that I don't even know if it works. I don't know if it's something I have to turn on. I got these for free. Because Andy, again, shout out Andy, their partner Jess got them, and they this was years ago. And shout out Jess. Jess didn't want them for whatever reason. They weren't what they imagined them to be. And Andy was like, "You want these?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not? Free headphones." So here we are. Never in my life have I bought a pair of headphones. I've always just acquired them from an airplane, or I bought a phone, or I bought an iPod, or I bought a CD player and headphones came with it, or I don't know, they're just at the bottom of my junk drawer for some reason, or at the bottom of a book bag, or I just acquire headphones. Why would I buy headphones? Think about it. Why would I buy headphones? Anyway, I have these headphones on, and they're bulky, and they're over my ears, and as I sat quietly, I could feel the rubber is probably not the right material. Plastic. You guys hear that? That's the plastic part, the soft pillowy. Hold on. That's the soft pillowy part next to my ear. I could hear that expanding. Is it expanding? I could hear that. I could hear that existing. I could hear that being next to my ear. And then I could hear the plastic, the part that is over. Sorry, they're both plastic. They're different types of plastic. There's the soft pillowy plastic next to my ear that makes them comfy cozy. And then there's the harder plastic that's on the outside of it that makes up the headphone. Guys, I need a lesson on materials, because I don't know materials. Plastic, rubber, wood, glass. My partner is a carpenter too, so it's I should know better. Jesus was a carpenter. Shout out Jesus. Shout out carpentry. Anyway, I could hear the soft plastic against my ear, maybe expanding, ? And I could hear the hard plastic moving as I move my head, because the headphone would move on my head, and the headphone moving against my head makes a sound. And because they're big bulky headphones, it's an echo. So even if I did basically nothing, I could hear the headphones I'm wearing. How trippy is that? How trippy is it that if we really tune into the now, the amount of things that we can taste, the amount of things that we can touch, the amount of things that we can smell. I could smell my own skin. I could hear hearing. I could hear the sound of my headphones on my head just existing. If I started crying right now, would that shock you? Guys, I need to make a Hot Pocket. Do you hear my stomach growling intermittently? Your girl needs a Hot Pocket. And that is today's sponsor. Hot Pockets. Hot Pockets! Lean Pockets are good too. But fuck diet culture. We don't need that shit. We get whole milk. We get heavy whipping cream. YOLO. YOLO is such a funny word for me, because I live, laugh, love YOLO. YOLO is a way of life for me, but also do I only live life once? Or is it samsara? Or is it the cycle of death and rebirth? The never-ending one, Or am I all that is, always, everything, everywhere, all at once? But if I'm all that is, if I'm everything, everywhere, all at once, then I am also YOLO. I'm the word YOLO. I'm the ideology of YOLO. I am the only living once. I am the life. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You'll get it if you get it, and you won't if you won't. And that's all there is to say. That's the bow. Anyway, did I cover anything I wanted to cover? Yes and no. I had a huge list of things. I did knock off a few. Remember, I shouted out Justin Bieber, and I read the Eckhart Tolle line. I mentioned mornings. That's enough, right? That's enough for a podcast episode, especially if we're doing this like almost every day. Did you guys see that I didn't do it yesterday? Did you notice? I gave you time to catch up because nothing is real. So like yesterday didn't even happen. Actually, I did record a podcast yesterday. Now I'm gaslighting you. Does gaslighting exist? This is an existential question, not a literal one. It's philosophical. To quote Socrates or Plato or Aristotle, I get them confused. I know that like with Plato and Socrates, like one of them's a mentor and one of them's a mentee. But again, it goes back to like the non-duality thing, like the observer and the observed are one. The lover and the beloved is one. But one of them, I think it's Socrates, said, all I know is that I know nothing. What a fucking line. Did there need to be another line after that? Did one ever need to say anything else other than that? I feel like we summed it all up there. I feel like you can go home, you know? Leave work early on that one. All I know is that I know nothing. All I know is that I know nothing other than whipped cream is life. Other than YOLO. Anyway, didn't cover anything I wanted to cover. I do want to say it because you're all going to be like, why is there a sea lion on the cover photo? Were you wondering that? Were you wondering that the whole time and wondering if I'd get there? Because, like, you know, like, she usually, I've heard 3 of her episodes. Maybe I've heard 1 of her episodes. Maybe this is the first episode I've ever heard. But usually the cover photo has, like, something that, like, is relevant to the theme. Why is there a sea lion? And here's the thing. The whole episode, screaming in my mind, is gotta mention the sea lion. Gotta mention the sea lion. Don't forget the sea lion, Lauren. Don't forget the sea lion. And here I am almost forgetting the sea lion. But we brought it back. We brought it back. We're so back, baby. We're so back. Sea lion can mean whatever you want it to mean. I was really looking for there to be a deeper meaning. Actually, like, I almost, and again, this would be planning. This would be against the premise of the pod. I wanted to look into sea lions. Okay, so the lore is, my friend Nell, shout out Nell, she was like, I think her pronouns are she. Sorry, Nell, if I'm wrong. She was like, put a sea lion on your next cover photo. Apparently Nell fucks with sea lions. And I fuck with that. And I fuck with Nell. And I fuck with sea lions. Right? I fuck with otters. I fuck with seals. All animals. All animals. All shapes, too. Colors. That's like that one Lisa Simpson quote. You guys know what I'm talking about? And they're like, what are your interests? And she's like, my interests are shapes, colors, numbers, art, music. And it's like, hell yeah, girly. She really ate with that one. But Nell really fucks with sea lions. And then she mentioned something when she was like, post a sea lion on your pic. She was like talking about something with sea lion consciousness. She's like, you can search it on TikTok. Like, I don't know if they're like dolphins. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're like really intelligent and like sounded like it was relevant. I'm not going to lie. She said the word consciousness and she said the word sea lions and she said the word podcast, my podcast. So I'm like, this sounds hella relevant, but I didn't look it up. You know, radical honesty. I did not look it up. So, you know, drop a comment if you know anything about sea lions and consciousness. And maybe I will read that. I've been reading every comment and responding to it. So I'm manifesting that. I'm manifesting you bring me the answer of how the sea lions are relevant to this podcast. I'm manifesting that the universe, the me, the external me, external, what does that mean? The me, the reality, guys, there's not going to be a term to sum this up. I'm bringing that into my awareness. Sea lions, consciousness. Sea lions, consciousness. This is hypnosis. Sea lions, consciousness. Sea lions, consciousness. You will see both in your reality. Ooh. You can't see me, but I'm rocking back and forth like a pendulum. Sea lions, consciousness. Maybe you can hear it because I'm talking as I'm rocking. If you tap really into the now, into the sense of hearing, you will hear me rocking. Back and forth, back and forth. You are getting very sleepy. Very sleepy. It's kind of like, I don't know if Trojan horse is the right way to describe it. It's kind of like, guys, I'm at a loss for words of expressions today. The expressions are not expressing themselves. But it's like I'm kind of misleading you because I was physically rocking back and forth. But I also was creating that illusion with my words. You know how like I was talking like a ghost. You guys know what I mean. Ooh. I was adding that like vibration to my voice. So there was both the rocking of the cadence of my voice, of the tone and the technique of my voice, and a physical rocking. So go back, listen to both. Find them both with your ears. My stomach is empty, guys. I really need a Hot Pocket. So I really need to wrap this up. Before I do, I have to also say, like, so weirdly enough, I actually made the cover photo today before I recorded, which was a fun experiment. Because, like, is that planning? Let me know if that's against the rules. There's no rules and I make the rules. So it doesn't really matter what you say. But, like, in a way, this was predestined. This goes back to the free will conversation. Everything I said was predestined, and we were just unraveling it together. Because I already made the cover photo. But before I go, I want to address the pink Power Ranger on the cover photo. And that is that yesterday, when my friend Eric, shout out Eric, was listening to the podcast, he heard me talk about pink Power Rangers, and then pink Power Rangers were in his awareness, and then he went to an antique store, and he found a pink Power Ranger, and I was like, if you don't fucking buy that pink Power Ranger, and he did, because he gets it. He knows the important things about life. He knows YOLO as an ideology, not as a truth. And so he bought the pink Power Ranger. He sent me that pic of her all snug as a bug in a rug, buckled in, comfy cozy, if you will. And anyway, shout out pink Power Ranger. Shout out pink Power Ranger. I'm going to leave it there. Have a nice day. Eat yourself a Hot Pocket. Okay, bye.